Hello, and what is going on, everybody? It is Master of TDS, and I am joined by my lovely wife,
Riding Raven.
And welcome back to another episode of Psycho-Synopsis. The segment where we summarize all the psychos for you. And we thought this would be a dull week, but oh no, we got a lot to cover this week.
It turned out to be a very eventful week.
So strap in and get ready, because we got a bunch of topics to cover. So without further ado, we'll just jump straight in.
Indeed, let us begin. First up, we talk about Loki.
Okay, so we actually have 3 topics on Loki to discuss, I know. But basically, the reason we brought up the 3 topics is because there was 3 stories that kind of came out about Loki. One of them's not really a story, just something we wanted to bring up.
But we're going to discuss them in order of when they came out.
So first thing is, apparently on some leaked, or promotional images for Loki or whatever, it shows that on his paperwork, whatever, that his gender's fluid.
Oh boy.
Now, look, I have nothing against people who want to identify as whatever they want.
Nor do I.
But Loki is not gender fluid. Sorry.
He's a god.
He's a god, and he has the ability of shape-shifting. Shape-shifting does not make somebody fluid. Just because someone can transform to look like a girl does not mean they identify as it. And I know, you're already probably typing in the comments, but Master, Loki's been a girl in the comics. Yes.
So he has also been a girl in mythology. He's been a horse in mythology that gave birth to a horse.
Yeah, and here's the thing. You're absolutely right. But that doesn't make him gender fluid.
No. For the most part, Loki in mythology seems to be heterosexual.
Yes, and what pisses me off is because there's no reason to include this information.
It really isn't.
Look, if you had brought it up,
in the movies,
then maybe whatever, fine. But now it's they're gonna bring in the female Loki, whatever. I don't care. But this is pointless. What does this add to the show?
Absolutely nothing.
To me, it adds nonsense.
It adds a reason not to watch it.
Yeah. And, there's also other reasons which we'll get into, but this is just obvious pandering.
Yeah.
And it's obvious so much so that it's boring.
Very.
It's predictable. Come on. Nobody cares about who somebody sleeps with. Is it a plot point of the show? Is he going to sleep with himself?
I doubt it. That would be extremely creepy.
Exactly.
Even for the God of Mischief.
Yes, but that's the point. Are we going to see Loki in a relationship? Probably not. So why do we need to know who he sleeps with?
We don't.
If it's part of the show, bring it into the show. If not, there's really no reason to bring it up. Just saying.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of pandering...
To market the show, they decided to do this.
They're after me Loki charms.
It's cute, but why?
I don't really see the necessary, why this is necessary.
It's not.
But, this I can get behind. This is kind of cute.
It is.
I'm actually going to give them props for this. This is actually okay.
This is actually a very cute marketing tactic.
Yeah, and again, I'm not, jumping up and down about this. Normally, we don't really mention things that we like. We try to be positive, but we don't know how much things we like. This is something I can get behind. Mm-hmm. I think it's cute. Is it necessary?
No.
Is it gonna, draw me in more? No.
No.
But it's cute. So, Look, I'll give you a pass on this one, but the rest of the show?
It's not like we're gonna eat the cereal anyway.
Alright, now on to the third and final Loki topic.
The ratings.
Did I leave the stove on?
That face totally says that.
Here's the question, though. Did he leave the stove on?
Does he even have a stove?
I guess he can, shapeshift into one if he really wanted to.
Nah, he shifts more into biological things than inanimate things.
Anyways, so now we're going to be talking about the Loki show, and I want to be very clear up front.
We have not watched it.
We haven't watched it. Did you hear that? We haven't watched it. So if you're expecting us to make decisions based on what or get mad at us because we're talking about something we didn't watch, too bad.
That's kind of what we're doing anyway.
Exactly. And so this show had potential.
It did.
But they threw it out the window.
Oh, yeah.
There's strong female characters that can, destroy Loki. They make fun of him. They punch him in slow motion.
They make him useless. They completely make the entire canon of the Marvel Cinematic Universe pointless, and it just sucks.
Yeah, because basically what they've done is they made it that basically, Infinity Stones and Tesseracts are super easy to come by in this time society that they have. So much so that people use them as paperweights. So much for the entire end of, Avengers Endgame, when they had to go back and put the stones, when there were a bazillion other ones they could have just got.
Yeah. That makes no sense.
Also, why didn't the Time Society, interfere with them going back in time and bringing people back?
Because they didn't exist until this show.
Why didn't they interfere with Thanos, wiping people out of existence?
Why didn't Kang?
Yeah, Kang was what they should have done.
They should have done Kang.
But, okay, so there's that, and there's also the fact that they've made it that basically the timeline is kind of, fixed and everything is predetermined. Meaning, basically, that there's no point.
Yeah. And anything that goes against what the timeline is supposed to be, they eliminate.
Or they, reset it, which they can do. And again, look, am I opposed to this? No.
It's a good concept, but they did it wrong.
They did it badly. They implemented it really badly.
That's an understatement.
And again, the reason we're talking about this, even after not watching, is because I've read a lot of the comics. My wife has read a lot of the comics.
I really like Loki.
This is not Loki.
Yeah. Especially not from the mythology.
And I know that, he's not. He's an alternate version of...
No.
I don't care. I don't care. Okay?
Nor do I.
Here's what I have to say about this. This is not Loki, because Loki is the god, emphasis on the word god, of mischief. Meaning that you'd think, as a god, that he would know about these people.
And besides that, the only people who can really bring down the god of mischief are the other gods. Which is why he has such a problem fighting Thor.
Yeah, and look, I'm not criticizing the show. If you guys like the show and you like seeing, Tom Hiddleston back... Tom Hiddleston back as Loki, all the more power to you.
He is a very good Loki.
But I'm not interested. I think this show is going to be detrimental to what they've built up. Mm-hmm. But again, what do we know at this point? Yeah. It's just... Look, I'm not going to watch anything that's on Disney. I have no interest. None.
We're pretty much done with Disney at this point.
We're just talking about it at this point to make fun of it and kind of point out the fact that they don't know what they're doing, which is quite obvious to anybody with half a brain. All right, so we got that out of the way. Now it's time for probably one of the most interesting topics we've covered.
Interesting is an understatement. We go into The Mother of Madness, written by the Mother of Dragons.
Okay. So.
Oh boy.
Let me explain to you what you're looking at. This is a costume design, which obviously has some problems.
But you think?
Let me explain to you kind of what this is.
Okay.
Mother of Madness is a character created by Emilia Clarke, who, if you guys may know, is from...
Game of Thrones. She played Daenerys.
Yeah. Haven't watched Game of Thrones.
Neither did I.
Didn't really care.
Me neither.
Don't plan to watch it.
Nope.
For some reason, this person decided it would be a good idea to make her own character because when she went to get comics as a girl, she was a very hostile environment, no girls allowed, in her comic book store. I don't want to call BS on that, but it's probably BS. But whatever, give her the benefit of the doubt. But her character's terrible. This is a character who is a single mom. Because single moms are superheroes, which I don't disagree with.
Yeah, but they don't have time to be superheroes.
But apparently this character gets her powers from her time of the month. No, you heard that correctly. Now, what are these powers, you ask?
Oh,
well, one of them is the ability to turn invisible, when she's afraid.
Based on her mood swings and hormonal flux.
And she also gains super strength, I think, from that.
When she gets angry, her breasts can inflate.
To stop human trafficking, which is ironic, not funny.
And the worst part is she swings like Spider-Man from her armpit hair.
No, you didn't mishear. She apparently can, quote, swing like Spider-Man from her armpit hair.
It's
end
things
quote.
Like this that they do that sometimes makes me embarrassed to be female.
I'm sorry. Here's what I'm just looking at, okay? Imagine you find out that you have superpowers. Who would be like, I wonder if I can, shoot out my armpit hair and do anything with that.
Hair doesn't work like that on any part of the body.
But no, how would you even figure that out?
You wouldn't.
No, explain to me, I get, Spider-Man or whatever, but, how would you figure out that your armpit hair you can swing from your armpit hair? How would you know?
I don't want to know.
Here's one day, la la la, oh, look!
Blech.
Who does that?
It makes me sick.
And the costume is, terrible, but we actually noticed something, and many people actually haven't covered this part, so we're going to actually cover it ourselves, because I think it's funny.
Or at least they haven't covered it yet. It's a self-insert.
So what you're seeing is a preview of the comic next to a picture of Emilia Clarke with a cute dog. I'll give her that.
At least the dog is cute.
But if you'll notice something, look at the faces of the two characters. Do you notice anything?
They're identical.
They're literally the same person. So in other words, Emilia Clarke is one of those people who, it's too hard to write an original character, so I'm just going to insert myself into the comic. Hope you like it!
So in other words, she wishes she could swing from her armpit hair?
Emilia? Hey.
You
hi.
have problems.
Emilia, so as a therapist, I'm very happy that you like to share, with people, and being open with your emotions is great. No one wants to know what your fantasies are. No one wants to know that you want to dress up as in a red suit and swing from buildings with your armpit hair. No one wants to know this. No one. There was no one who needed to know this. No one who wanted to know this. And now that I know it,
I wish I hadn't. Exactly. Just get a wax.
Yeah, seriously. That's how you fix them. You don't go, maybe I should braid this and make it into a rope.
Ew! Why?
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your armpit hair.
Ugh, it makes me sick.
I'm literally imagining now that Rapunzel, let down your hair.
Stop it. Let's move on. This is disgusting.
But it's too fun to make fun of. What were you thinking? Who's
She
gonna buy this?
No one! Except for people who prefer having armpit hair.
So I want to point something out. Right here, what you're seeing is literally a perfect example of why mainstream comics are failing so spectacularly.
And why they're dead.
And why manga is kicking the ass of any mainstream comic that's out there right now, because this is what people are giving us. They don't give us strong characters. They don't want to learn the lore. They don't want to know. They want to make themselves. And that's pretty much what our next topic is going to be about.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, our next topic is another self-insert, as you can see.
Velma.
So, apparently they're making a, spin-off show of Velma, except it's not Velma, because of this woman right here that says, I'm Velma now.
Her name is Mindy Kaling. She is the writer and director.
Yes, and basically she's decided that this Velma doesn't need Scooby-Doo or doesn't need the Mystery Machine or any of that stuff, and it's going to be East Asian?
Yeah, and also not for children.
Why? Then why call her Velma? Oh, I know why. It's because you need the character recognition and the brand recognition to be able to push your show. But honestly, here's what I'm looking at. Do you notice anything about Mindy here?
Besides that she's wearing yellow?
What does she look like? What would you say her ethnicity is?
India.
So, in other words, you're going to make Velma you. That's what I'm hearing. I could be wrong. Maybe the show will be good. I don't know. But why?
Because they can.
Nobody wants this. It's become a joke. It is a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you doing this? It is a joke. It is a joke.
Yeah.
This is not going to be Velma then. Why not make a show called Velma and have it have nothing to do with the rest? Oh, that's right, because you think if you do that, you wouldn't actually make money, which is true, because nobody wants to see a self-insert of you in a show. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to see this. And branding yourself as Velma is not going to get people to come. It's going to get people to come to make fun of you, and if that's what you wanted, you could have achieved that very easily by looking in a mirror.
Tell me, love, in your opinion as a therapist, why do you think they have the need to self-insert everywhere?
I wish I knew. I honestly think that here's what it is. This is my running theory on it. What I think is these people want attention. They want to become someone big in the industry. They want to become someone recognizable. But the problem is they lack actual creativity. They can't come up with anything new. So instead of doing that, what they do is they go and they take a character that already exists, and instead of learning about them or trying to improve upon what they've already been built, they can't. They don't have that ability. Yeah. So instead, they take the character, remold them, and shape them into the only thing they actually have knowledge about, themselves. Well, guess what? If you want us to know your story, write a book.
They're actually pretty easy to get published these days with just regular books.
Write a book and pitch it. Don't. The fact that you have to go and change an existing character just goes to show me, as a possible consumer of this product, what it shows me is that you have no confidence in your own story, on your own publicity, in a sense where you need to go and ride the coattails of someone better than you.
Ouch.
What you need to do is you need to ride the coattails of the people who actually were important and actually made a difference in the industry in order to get some measly little crumbs of importance. Congratulations. Hope those crumbs are worth it, because that's all you're going to get, because nobody wants this garbage.
No. Well said.
Speaking of something nobody wanted...
He-Man, or rather, Masters of the Universe.
Revelations. So, this has been a series coming for a long time by Kevin Smith. Now, people know Kevin Smith, whatever. I have no beef with the guy personally. And I'll be honest, my knowledge of He-Man is rather limited.
Same.
But I do have a lot of experience, and I'm very familiar with the bait and switch.
Yes.
And that's what Kevin Smith is doing. Now, let me explain. A while back, another very amazing YouTube channel named Clownfish TV, shout out to them, they're great.
Yes, they are.
If you haven't subscribed to them, you should go check them out, because they're awesome.
Yes, they are. They are very big fans of Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, and because of that, they got some insider information about the script, and it was basically going to focus not on He-Man, it was going to put him aside and focus on Teela.
His sister.
Yes. So here's the problem with that. Nobody cares if there's a Teela series. But then make it a Teela series. Don't disguise it as a He-Man series. Now, they didn't even make a video. They put out a post on Twitter about it, and guess what?
What?
Kevin Smith found out about it. They didn't tag him, whatever, and he basically called them out and said, no, it's about He-Man, I'm a big fan, blah, 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 blah.
Basically attacked them.
Fast forward to now, we get a trailer for it, and the trailer looks really good.
It does. The animation is great, the music didn't really fit, the voices sound okay.
Only problem is, we've been hearing rumors for a while that Clownfish TV was right. And Netflix released the official synopsis, which literally says that it's going to be a big battle where, the heroes of Eternia are kind of, the champions of Eternia are spread out, and it's up to Teela to go restore everything and bring it all back. Now, could it still be a good show? Could there be some twist we don't know? Of course there could be. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. If you need to market a show as He-Man, as being He-Man-centric, and then change it to be Teela, but bait and switch it, that just shows me that you have no confidence in your writing ability. It's the same thing.
Well, the other thing that we did get a hint of that Clownfish was right is that it doesn't say He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. It's just Masters of the Universe, Revelation. They don't even mention He-Man in the title of the show.
That, and this little beauty here. So this was found, I want to give a shout out to Stephen Wayne Art on Twitter. Shout out to him. He found this tweet, and I don't know if it's still up.
Probably not.
I think it was archived, but this is a tweet from Kevin Smith in
2010.
So here's the fun part. Kevin Smith has claimed multiple times that he is a giant fan of He-Man. Oh really, Kevin Smith? Because this tweet says, I wasn't a He-Man fan, but Gallery 1988 is running an awesome Masters of the Universe art show. Look. So, explain yourself, Kevin Smith?
Being a fan of the art does not make you a fan of the franchise.
And you said you were a big He-Man fan. What gives? So,
you lied.
Yes, and if you lied once, you'll lie again. And again, I want to be very clear. Nobody has a problem with making a good show about Teela.
Nope.
But if you're going to market it as a He-Man show, giving literally 40 years after 40 years fans get the fight that they've always wanted.
It's actually after 20 years because of the 2002 reboot, which was pretty good.
Yes, but putting that aside, that's what it said in the trailer. I'm taking his words.
Sure.
And then you're going to market it like that, and then you're going to bait and switch it. Now, could He-Man come back? Could there be like some whole part 2 where things change? Yes. And the show could still be great. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, it could be.
My problem is, if you're going to put out a show based around a character, you need to have the show actually be based around the character.
Yeah.
You can't pretend and then bait and switch. What do you think's going to happen? You think the people coming in to go watch He-Man are going to come and be like, you know what? This isn't He-Man. It's Tila. But you know what? I'm just going to stay anyways. No. They're going to turn off the TV in disgust. Yeah. Do you guys not get this?
In disgust and betrayal.
And again, make no mistake, the show could be great. But when you already do that, what that tells me is you don't have confidence in your marketing ability. You don't have confidence in your writing ability. Because if you did, you wouldn't need to resort to dirty tricks. The fact that you're resorting to these dirty tricks is not about promotion. It's about the fact that you feel like you lack any good writing skill. If you have that skill, you'd have no problem.
Mm-hmm.
And
as a writer, I concur.
Exactly. Make it about what you're saying about. It could be a great show. But the thing is, market it as Masters of the Universe Revelation. Tila's Journey. That would all you need to do.
Yeah. But he didn't.
Because he didn't want to.
Nope. He's a coward.
It's okay, though. He's a huge He-Man fan. I'm sure this tweet's fake. Except it's not.
It really is not. Sigh.
Again, look, my wife and I are not big He-Man fans. We didn't get to watch much of it. We were familiar with it, but so it's not going to bother us particularly. But It's just it bothers a lot of fans, and it's just kind of sad that this is what it's come to.
Yeah. So next we go into something that actually I'm a little bit more hopeful for.
We have a Rob Zombie film being made on the Munsters.
A Munsters reboot, and I am actually more of a fan of the Munsters than my husband, so I'm taking point on this. Mm-hmm. The Munsters was a great rom-com. Not so much a rom-com, actually. It was a great comedy back in the 60s, along with The Addams Family, about a family of monsters and their one human niece. And it was a great show, had a lot of funny concepts, and it also had some very inspirational moments in some of the dialogue. And Rob Zombie being the director of the reboot film, I actually have some hope about, because Rob Zombie, for those who don't know, not only is he a metal musician, he is also a master of horror and monster films, and I mean master. So, granted, if he is making this film, it'll likely focus more on horror than comedy, but I'm actually okay with that, because I want to see what he does with this. Kind of like how I want to see how Tim Burton does The Addams Family, except that's being run by Netflix, so I have no hope for that.
So, again, and some fans out there of this are upset about this, and some fans are willing to give it a shot. I think that, from what I'm hearing, again, and from my limited knowledge, it seems like this show may actually have some potential here. And it also doesn't seem like they're trying to change anything, as far as we know.
Yeah. I don't think Rob Zombie would be the type to.
So, that's a plus in my book.
Mm-hmm. I think Rob Zombie, when it comes to horror films and monster films, is the kind of person who's respectful to the lore, from what I have seen of his work. Yeah. So, I am going to stay hopeful about this one until I know more.
Yeah, and again, if people are upset that it's not going to be a comedy, whatever, that's cool, I get it.
I actually would like to see it as horror, now that I'm thinking about it.
But this is different than taking something and changing it. This is taking what was already there and kind of putting your own twist into it, which is what people in Hollywood should be doing more of. Take notes.
Seriously, learn from the master of movies, Rob Zombie.
Okay.
Speaking of masters of things.
Now we're going to talk about our last topic here is about cancel culture.
Regarding Scott Cawthon, another master of horror.
Now, you guys may have heard of Scott Cawthon, as he is well known as the creator of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good franchise.
Yes, and so we're not going to go into details, but apparently someone discovered that, oh no, he's
Republican.
He's Republican, and he supported Republican charities, and he's also Christian, and they're trying to cancel him for
that.
Now,
so dumb.
This is ridiculous. Stop already.
We've had enough. What's wrong with following your own beliefs?
So, Scott Cawthon didn't take this laying down.
Oh, no.
So I actually want to read what he wrote here. Normally I wouldn't read the whole thing, but I actually think this is a very good post. So I would actually like to read this if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
So Scott Cawthon posts on...
Looks like
Reddit. My response and maybe last post. He says, this message isn't specifically directed at the Reddit community. This is just the community that I care about most and where I choose to post these things. I never cared much for Twitter anyway. Solid choice.
Mm-hmm.
To say that the last few days have been surreal would be an understatement. I've debated greatly how to best address this, including not addressing it at all. But with so many people from the LGBT community in the fan base that I love, that's not an option. I'd like to think that the last 7 years would have given me the benefit of the doubt in regards to how I try to treat people. But there I was, trending on Twitter for being a homophobe, getting doxxed with people threatening to come to my house. My wife is 6 weeks pregnant, and she spent last night in fear because of what was being said online. She has already been struggling with her pregnancy, so seeing her so afraid really scared me. All of this because I exercise my right and my duty as an American citizen to vote for and support the candidates who I felt would best run the country for everyone, and that's something I want to apologize for. And here he goes into kind of some of the people that he wanted to and why he supported them. That part you can read for yourself if you'd like.
Pause the video if you want to read it.
I'm going to read where it picks up next. It says, all this explanation, I fear, is wasted, as people don't want to discuss with one another anymore. They want endless apologies and submissions. People expecting those from me will get neither. I've always been supportive of creators and have tried to treat everyone fairly. I treat everyone with dignity and respect, and I've never cared about anyone's race, religion, gender, or orientation. I just treat people as people, everyone the same. And because of that, I've ended up with a very diverse group of people that I have worked with over the years. It wasn't intentional, it just happened that way. I chose people who are best for the job. I treat everybody the same. And I ended up with people from all walks of life in my personal life, and my professional life and personal life as well. That's how it should be. That's the way I want it to be. That's the way I will continue to be. I'm a Republican, I'm a Christian, I'm pro-life, I believe in God, I also believe in equality and in science and in common sense. Despite what some may say, all of those things can go together. That's not an apology or a promise to change, that's the way it's always been. If I get canceled, then I get canceled. I don't do this for the money anymore. I do it because I enjoy it. If people think I'm doing more harm than good, then maybe it's better than I get canceled and retire. I would accept that. I've had a fulfilling career. Besides, most things that people can take away from you are things that never had much value to begin with. I've always loved and will continue to love this community and its fan base, even if someday it doesn't include me anymore.
Massive respect to you, Scott Cawthon.
And again, I'm not a huge fan of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, but I respect what he had to say here.
Oh, yeah.
This is an incredible stand. These people don't understand. When you cave and you bend the knee, that's what they want you to do, but it will never be enough. You need to stand your ground and say no.
So many people don't know how to say no anymore.
You stand up and you say no. This is me, this is my life, and you and your ilk can stay out of it. And if you don't like something that I'm doing, there's the door. And you give them a nice shove so they go out the door too.
Yeah.
More people need to do this.
Please.
These people only have power because we let them have it. People like this who stand up and say no, these people are going to freak out even more. And they are. They have been on Twitter all last night.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all they can do. They have no actual power unless you give it to them.
Yeah.
So just a lesson to take away from this today, if you're going to take away a lesson from this video, is that don't let them cancel you. In the words of Gina Carano, they can't cancel us if we don't let them.
Yes.
All right, now let's get into the part you've all been waiting for.
The diagnosis of the week.
Yeah, and so it's come to the point where we're going to have to kind of probably recycle some diagnoses.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah, I guess.
So we have one diagnosis we've used before, but I think it fits for this week.
It really does. Please tell us what it is.
Narcissistic personality disorder. And narcissistic personality disorder is the long-term, pattern of abnormal behavior, exaggerated feelings of self-importance, need for admiration, and lack of empathy. And if anything, this week shows that exact thing. Whether it's the people attacking people over things that are personal to who they are or what they believe in, or whether it's changing characters' races or bait and switching or whatever. These people feel that they can do this because they have an exaggerated ego. They believe they have the power, and they do all this stuff, and they don't have empathy. They don't care for the fans. They don't care about anything. These people are the reasons the industry is failing. And I think that this narcissistic personality disorder, while we've used it before, I think fits very well for this week.
Especially with the self-inserts.
Yeah. So let us know what you think in the comments below. Did you agree with this week's diagnosis? Did you not? Did you agree with our takes? Let us know in the comments, as I said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think that's about it.
And follow us both on Twitter at Master of the TDS and at Writing Raven 2. Follow me on Wattpad at Gothic Writer 613.
And don't forget to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss your weekly therapy session.
Because you don't want to get charged.
You don't want that.
No.
Times are tough as is.
All right then. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Gothic Therapy, out.